Of the government, and I'm not asking this to you for some happening soundbite. I want to look at it from your perspective or your prism. The, the developments recent past in the country, be it the election results, be it what was happening between government and RBI, or the way Indian economy was going through the volatile period because of the crude and the way crude was behaving, or what we saw in stock markets. It's all very stressful at society level also, at government level also, at economic level also. What are your thoughts on that?
See, some basic changes which we are trying to make to our economic structure is actually very foundational. When you try to change the foundations of a building or try to fix the foundations of a building, certain pieces of the roof will fall on our head. That's the way it is. It hurts. Without that pain, we will not come out of it. Everywhere people are telling me, because of GST, all small businesses are hurt. It is true. We are also hurt because just to figure out how this GST is so complex and whatever. But now slowly people are figuring it out. But what I want to say is, yes, small businesses are hurt, it's true. And unfortunately, it's a large segment of our economy and it's hurt. But if we don't fix some fundamentals now, forever India will be a small business. If you want India to become big business in the world, these fundamentals have to be fixed. I would want it to be fixed at a much faster pace, but democratic politics do not allow quick fix. Quick fixing is not allowed because lot of pain will happen.
Right.
That pain if you're not ready for, there'll be no transformation. Our very birth is in pain, isn't it? If our mothers are not willing to go through the pain, we are not born.
True.
So, there is pain in transformation, but transformation is always worthwhile.
Correct. So, even in the recent elections which just concluded, somewhere the debate and the discussion shifted from development, which has been the cornerstone of the election campaigning for quite some time now. It shifted from there to Ram Temple, to renaming of cities and things like that. Somewhere are we mixing up the priorities? Nobody is talking about jobs, nobody is talking about water security. India is a thirsty country.
See, about economy, this whole jobs business is just something we borrowed from American election campaign. India doesn't run on organized jobs. It is also needed, but India runs at various levels, okay? There was a time in early 90s, I think, only 6 or 7% of Indians were actually in formal employment. Rest were all self-employed in some way. So still we are in that condition, maybe that percentage is significantly improved, but seeking government jobs or organized jobs is not the only way this nation and this economy is done. So this talking about jobs, yes, it's important for young people, but it's also very important. The most important, I think the only temperature gauge for us should be, is the market buzzing or no?
Yes.
The rest of it, you don't worry. Somebody will find a job somewhere. If the market is buzzing, if economic activity and commerce is happening, it's everybody's business to see how to fit into it. You don't sit and wait, I got educated and I'm waiting. Some job should come to me looking for me. No, that is not the only way. About election rhetoric, it's unfortunate the way it has become, but it does not mean economic issues are in the back burner. Generally, everybody is already aware of the economic issues. So, the last bit of the election, they are talking about the emotive issues.
Yeah.
Talking against each other, it's all kinds of things, all right? Temples and mosques and everything will come into play. This is the last mile pitch. So, don't take the last mile pitch as the only pitch. Development has been spoken about.
But do you think we are close to the solution of the temple problem? Do you think so? Because everybody has been working towards it.
See, now
to find
I
a cohesive
think
solution.
the courts have brought it to a place where it's just a property dispute. Property dispute can be settled. When it's a fight between when people are fighting for their gods, you can't settle it.
Yeah, you can't settle.
When you're fighting for a piece of property, there is a way to settle it. I believe it's close enough.
That's nice. When it comes to India, everybody believes that India has a very bright future, great future, will be great country and will become this economy, that economy. The problem begins when you ask them about their own self. When you ask them about their future, that 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself? 15 years down the line, where do you see yourself? That's where the vagueness starts coming, and that's where that confidence starts shaking. So probably, I think at individual level, this Rise with India is still not resonating in the consciousness of.
See, that's because India's education is not skill-based. It is simply Her Majesty's service, or not even that, it's East India Company's education system. Simply we are reading everything and not learning anything in a focused way. Because it's not skill-based, individuals don't know what to do with themselves.
Correct.
See, if you go and sit in a local tea shop, I'm sorry, let me say a coffee shop, because tea has become a big controversy now in the country. If you sit in the local coffee shop, that guy knows what's wrong with Tendulkar's batting technique.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows how the Prime Minister doesn't know what to do with the economy. Only thing is, he doesn't know how to make good coffee or tea. What he is supposed to do, he doesn't know, everything else he knows. This is how our education system is. It tells you everything except what we are supposed to do.
Well said. What would be your message to the Indians at this point? Because I think as a country, as an economy, as a political country also, we are at a very interesting inflection point at this point. Your message.
See, we are on a threshold.
Yes.
When I say a threshold, for the last 15–20 generations, the people of this nation have gone through terrible states of deprivation, economic and otherwise. For the first time in the history of humanity, in recent times or for the first time in the history of humanity, the only nation which moved its billion people from one level of existence to another was the Chinese Republic. But they did it with enormous force and pain, a lot of bloodletting, but they did it. In my opinion, this is a very dangerous opinion, trouble opinion for me, but in my opinion, keeping a large mass of people in poverty for generations is worse than that little bit of killing that they do. Well, they didn't do little bit, a lot of killing happened, but they moved 1 billion people from one level of existence to another. But we are in a unique situation. Today, if we do the right things for the next 5 to 10 years' time, we will move something like 800 million people from one level of existence to another through a democratic process without bloodletting. This is a unique happening in the history of humanity. Never before such a mass of people have been moved from one level of living to another. We are sitting on the threshold. Do we have the courage and the commitment to cross the threshold and make it happen? This is a big question for every Indian. Are we willing to do what is good for the nation beyond our personal well-being, if necessary?
Right.
This is something… This is not a sacrifice, this is just sense. This is long-term investment for life. Why do you call it a sacrifice? It's not a sacrifice. If I plant a coconut tree and I don't get anything for 8 years, is it a sacrifice? No, I'm investing for long-term well-being.
Yeah, right. I think that's the best thing about this discussion, that it leaves us conscious and it leaves a lot for us to think about how we conduct ourselves.
See, nation is not a piece of land, nation is people. If we do not enhance the quality of the people, we will not enhance the quality of the nation.
Right.
There is no way for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
let's
sir.
make it
It's
happen.
been a pleasure. Thank you. We'll make it happen. Thank you.